The air hung thick with secrets, heavy as the velvet drapes in a forgotten opera house. Stop. Just stop for a moment and listen closely. Lily Adams, a wisp of a woman with eyes that held the vastness of the night sky, moved through the opulent world of Salvati's, a sanctuary for Chicago's elite, yet a gilded cage for her. At 21, she was a master of disguise, an artist painting normalcy over a canvas of hidden truths. She worked tirelessly, each dollar earned a step further from a past she desperately sought to bury, tuition fees for her linguistic studies, a beacon of hope amidst the shadows. Wine refill, table 9, and for God's sake, don't spill on Mr. Corsetti. The head waitress, Heather, barked, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. Lily's heart fluttered, a nervous bird trapped in her chest. Dante Corsetti. The name resonated with an unsettling power. For months, she'd served him, an invisible hand pouring fortunes into his glass. But tonight, the script changed. "Excuse me, miss." His voice, a low rumble of authority, broke through her practiced routine. He stood close, too close, his dark eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that sent a shiver dancing down her spine. His presence was a symphony of expensive details, the tailored suit whispering of Italian craftsmanship, the faint shadow of stubble hinting at a life too consumed to bother with trivialities. "Your wine, sir," she managed, her voice a fragile melody against the backdrop of clinking glasses and hushed conversations. "Not for me." He gestured towards a woman seated regally behind him. "My mother has been trying to get your attention. Mrs. Corsetti." Her silver hair pulled back, revealing a face etched with kindness and lined with the stories of 1,000 lifetimes. She made gentle gestures, a silent language of hope flickering in her eyes. Without hesitation, Lily abandoned the bottle and approached. "Good evening," she signed, her hands flowing with a practiced grace born from a past she tried to forget. "How may I help you?" The woman's face bloomed with delight, her hands answering in a flurry of elegant movements. She expressed her admiration for the chef's risotto, a taste that transported her back to her grandmother's kitchen in Naples. Lily replied, promising to relay her compliments, a genuine smile gracing her lips for the first time that evening. As they conversed, Lily's practiced hands and heartfelt responses sparked a genuine connection with Mrs. Corsetti. Lily almost didn't notice the quiet that had overtaken the entire restaurant. It was just so healing to connect to somebody. She had been so careful to keep her past hidden, to build a new identity far from her family connections in Boston, when she made an important connection. "You're very kind," the older woman signed, her eyes sparkling. "Most people just smile and nod. Your signing is beautiful. Where did you learn?" "I grew up with a deaf cousin," Lily blurted out, then froze. The words hung in the air, heavy with the truth she had so desperately tried to conceal. Dante's voice cut through the air, sharp and demanding. "You're full of surprises, aren't you?" Panic surged. She'd been so careful. Now, a moment of genuine connection threatened to shatter her carefully constructed facade. "It was just something I picked up as a child, sir. Nothing important." Dante stepped closer, his voice dropping to a dangerous murmur. "You speak sign language fluently. What else are you hiding, Lily Adams?" The question hung in the air, a challenge. The eyes of the restaurant were upon her, Heather hovering nervously. "I should get back to work," Lily whispered, reaching for the wine bottle. Her hand trembled, betraying her carefully constructed composure. "Wait." Dante caught her wrist, his touch sending an unexpected jolt through her. She saw a flicker of something in his eyes, a recognition of the shared current. "I'm sorry. That was unnecessarily harsh. My mother doesn't connect with many people. Your kindness means more than you know." Lily hesitated, drawn to the vulnerability beneath his powerful exterior. "Your mother is lovely," she said softly. "She was telling me about her childhood in Naples." Days blurred into a haze of memory. Lily couldn't shake the interaction with the Corsettis. Instead of dismissal, she received an envelope from Heather, a generous tip, and a note. "Thank you for seeing my mother." D.C., the Tuesday night crowd thinned, granting Lily a brief respite. As she refilled water glasses, the familiar sensation of being watched prickled her skin. Dante sat alone, his dark eyes fixed on her every move. Tonight, he was without his usual entourage, as if awaiting something or someone. Mr. Corsetti would like to speak with you when you have a moment, the manager whispered, his tone laced with caution. Be careful, Lily. That family isn't known for their forgiving nature. Heart pounding, Lily approached, notepad clutched like a shield. Good evening, Mr. Corsetti. How may I help you? Sit down, Lily, Dante said, gesturing to the chair across from him. The politeness in his voice was laced with command. I think we need to have a conversation about who you really are. The restaurant faded as Lily sank into the chair, her carefully constructed world threatening to crumble. I don't know what you mean, she managed, the lie feeling hollow. Your accent slips sometimes, Boston, I think. And you flinch when certain names are mentioned, names like O'Malley or Flanagan, Irish families with connections to my competitors. Fear, icy and paralyzing, coursed through Lily's veins. How had he noticed? She'd been so meticulous. I'm just a waitress trying to get through college. A waitress who speaks fluent Italian Sign Language, a rare dialect even among interpreters. A waitress who tenses every time my associate, Bianca, walks through the door, as if you recognize him, as if you're afraid of him. Dante leaned forward, his voice dropping to an intimate murmur. You've been watching me, Lily accused, finding a surprising courage in her fear. The realization should have terrified her, but instead, she felt a strange relief. I watch everyone. Dante replied with a shrug that did nothing to diminish his intensity. It's how I've stayed alive this long. But you, Lily Adams, or should I call you by your real name? You're different. A chill ran through her as she realized the depth of her miscalculation. She had chosen this restaurant because it was far from Irish territory, never imagining she'd end up serving one of the most powerful figures in the Italian syndicate. My mother thinks you're an angel, Dante continued, surprising Lily with the gentleness in his tone. She hasn't stopped talking about you since that night. She says you have kind eyes despite the fear you carry. Lily's fingers twisted nervously in her lap, the weight of her secrets suddenly unbearable. Your mother is perceptive, but she doesn't know who I am, who my family is. If she did, she wouldn't be so welcoming. She knows more than you think, Dante said cryptically, his dark eyes studying her with uncomfortable intensity. The question is, what are you doing here? Serving tables at a restaurant frequented by your family's sworn enemies? Rain began to fall outside, blurring the city lights into watercolor smudges. The clear lines between safety and danger blurred with every word exchanged. I'm not what you think, she whispered, her voice barely audible. I left that life. I'm not part of my family's business. I never was. Dante's laugh was surprisingly gentle, almost sad. No one ever truly leaves the O'Malley, especially not the daughter of Patrick O'Malley, whose hatred for my family spans generations. Lily felt the blood drain from her face. He knew. Of course, he knew. My father disowned me 2 years ago when I refused to marry into the Sullivan family to cement their alliance. As far as he's concerned, I no longer exist. Recognition flickered in Dante's eyes, followed by something that might have been respect. So you chose exile over being a pawn in their game. Brave, foolish, but brave. Not brave enough, Lily countered, thinking of the night she'd fled, taking nothing but a backpack, and the guilt of abandoning her younger siblings. I should have done more to protect my brothers and sisters before I left. A muscle twitched in Dante's jaw, the only indication that her words had affected him. Your youngest brother, Tommy, he's safe. My people have been keeping an eye on him at college in Vermont. Lily's head snapped up, shock and confusion warring on her face. You've been watching Tommy. Why would you? Her question died as understanding dawned, cold and terrifying. You've been using him to find me. Initially, yes, Dante admitted without apology. But something changed 3 months ago. Your father's right-hand man, Sean Flanagan, made a move against the boy. We intervened. The restaurant felt too small, the air too thin. Lily struggled to process what Dante was telling her. Sean wouldn't. He's been loyal to my father for decades. Loyalty changes when power shifts, Dante said, his eyes never leaving her face. There's been talk that your father is losing his grip. That Flanagan has been making deals with the Russians behind his back. Outside, a black SUV pulled up to the curb, its windows tinted against prying eyes. Dante glanced at it before returning his attention to Lily. Your family is imploding, and the fallout is going to be catastrophic for everyone involved. Lily felt sick, her carefully constructed new life crumbling around her. "Why are you telling me this? What do you want from me, Dante?" "Because my mother likes you," he said with a wry smile that didn't reach his eyes. "And because I need someone who knows Flanagan's habits, his hiding places, his weaknesses, someone who grew up watching him operate." The implication hung between them, absurd and impossible. "You want me to help you take down my father's organization? I left that world. I don't know anything about their current operations." Dante reached across the table, his fingers brushing against hers in a touch that felt both threatening and oddly reassuring. "What I want is to prevent a war that will leave dozens of bodies in its wake, including your siblings." Lily pulled her hand away, fighting the unexpected electricity of his touch. "You expect me to believe you care about preventing bloodshed? Your family's reputation suggests otherwise." "Reputations are useful tools," Dante said, his voice hardening. "But they rarely tell the full story. My father built his empire on violence. I've spent 5 years dismantling the most brutal aspects of his legacy." "You want me to believe you're the good guy in all this?" Lily asked, disbelief evident in her voice. The restaurant had emptied considerably, leaving them in a bubble of relative privacy. Dante's expression hardened. "There are no good guys in this story, Lily. Just people trying to survive and maybe protect the ones they care about along the way." He checked his watch. "We don't have much time. Flanagan's men have been watching this restaurant for the past 20 minutes. That black sedan across the street." Lily's blood turned to ice as she discreetly glanced toward the window. The sedan was positioned perfectly. "How did they find me?" A waitress approached their table, placing a dessert menu between them as cover. "There's a man at the bar asking questions about you," she whispered to Lily. "Showed your picture to the bartender, Irish accent, scar above his right eye." "Declan," Lily breathed, recognizing the description of her father's most ruthless enforcer. Dante's expression remained unchanged, but Lily noticed the subtle shift in his posture, coiled tension, ready to spring. "There's a service corridor through the kitchen that connects to the building next door. The staff use it for smoke breaks." Lily's academic life flashed before her eyes, the scholarship, her apartment, the normal existence she'd carved out. "The same way I did, following the thread of your unusual talents. How many people can speak that specific dialect of Italian Sign Language? Your kindness to my mother painted a target on your back." He slid a cell phone across the table. "Take this. My driver will meet you at the back entrance in 5 minutes. He'll take you somewhere safe while we figure this out." Panic flared in Lily's chest. "My roommate, my classes. I can't just disappear. People will notice. Your roommate will be told you had a family emergency. Your professors will receive emails asking for extensions." Dante's efficiency was both reassuring and terrifying. "But if you walk out the front door, Flanagan's men will make you disappear permanently." Lily stared at the phone, the reality of her situation crashing down around her. This wasn't a negotiation. It was her only chance at survival. "Why would you risk helping me? I'm nothing to you. Worse, I'm an O'Malley. Because I've spent 2 months watching you study until dawn, donate half your tips to a homeless shelter, and treat my mother with more dignity than most of my associates." His voice softened almost imperceptibly. "You deserve better than being collateral damage in Flanagan's power grab." Before she could respond, Dante's phone vibrated with a text. His expression darkened as he read it. "They're making a move. Go now. Through the kitchen, down the hall, last door on the left. Carlo is waiting with a black SUV." Lily rose on shaky legs, clutching the phone like a lifeline. "What about you? Won't they recognize you leaving?" "Let me worry about myself," Dante said, his smile predatory. "I've dealt with worse than Sean Flanagan's thugs." 3 weeks later, Lily stood at the window of a lakeside safe house, watching dawn break over the water. Mrs. Corsetti sat at the rustic dining table, signing rapidly as she told Lily stories of Dante as a child, stubborn, fiercely protective, always with a strong sense of justice that his father had tried to beat out of him. "He was different from the beginning," Mrs. Corsetti sighed. "My husband wanted him to be cruel, but Dante found ways to show mercy without appearing weak. It's a difficult balance in our world." The burner phone vibrated. "It's time. Be ready in 10. Lily showed the message to Mrs. Corsetti. "He will protect you." The older woman signed, her eyes gentle, but knowing. "My son sees in you what I see. A kindred spirit trying to escape a legacy you never chose." The sound of tires on gravel announced Dante's arrival. He entered alone, his appearance disheveled, but his eyes alive with grim satisfaction. "We found the evidence," he said, setting a laptop on the table. "Financial records, communications with the Russians, orders for hits on your brothers. Flanagan has been systematically dismantling your father's organization from within." Lily stared at the screen, nausea rising. "My father trusted him completely. They grew up together, shared everything. How could Sean do this?" A particular message caught Lily's eye, a conversation about the girl who got away. They were planning to use her as leverage against her father. "He sent men to my university," she whispered. "They were in my literature class, my favorite coffee shop. They were everywhere, watching, waiting for the right moment." Dante's hand rested on her shoulder. "But they didn't get to you. And now we're 10 steps ahead of whatever they planned." Mrs. Corsetti approached with tea. "My son rarely brings anyone to this place. It has been our sanctuary since he was a boy. The only place his father never tainted with violence." "Power corrupts even the strongest loyalties," Dante said. "But we have a more immediate problem. Flanagan knows we have this evidence, and he's called for a sit-down with your father tonight." Lily looked up sharply. "It's a trap. He's going to kill my father and blame it on you, starting a war that will destroy both families." "Exactly." Dante pulled out a gun. "Which is why we're going to be there to stop it." Lily's protest died on her lips as Mrs. Corsetti's hands moved in a flurry of signs. "You can't ask her to face them. They'll kill her on sight for betraying the family." "I'm not asking," Lily said. "These are my brothers, my sisters at risk. I ran away once. I won't do it again." The warehouse on the docks was neutral territory. Lily's heart hammered as she sat in Dante's car, watching figures move through the shadows. "Your father arrived 10 minutes ago with minimal security," Dante said. "Flanagan is inside with 6 men, more than necessary for a peaceful meeting." Lily nodded, checking her own weapon. "I need to speak to my father alone first. If I can convince him of Flanagan's betrayal, we might avoid bloodshed." Dante's men would secure the exits while Lily confronted her father with the evidence. Dante would remain nearby. "Be careful," Dante said, his hand lingering on her arm. "Your father may not believe you, even with proof." "I know," Lily said. "But he deserves the chance to know the truth, to make his own choice, just like I did when I left." The warehouse interior was dimly lit. Lily slipped through a side entrance, the flash drive clutched in her palm. Memories flooded back as she navigated the familiar territory. Summers spent learning the family business. The weight of her gun pressed against her lower back, a cold reminder of the violence she now willingly embraced. She spotted Dante's men, identifiable by their stillness, their watchful eyes. Among them was Carlo, Dante's lieutenant. Through the shadows, Lily caught glimpses of her younger brother, Sean Jr., positioned as security. Her heart ached at the man he'd become in her absence. Through a crack in the door, she could see her father, older than she remembered. Facing him was Sean Flanagan, his expression solicitous, but his eyes cold. The air hung thick with secrets, a storm brewing beneath the surface of polite conversation. In the dimly lit room, a single gesture, almost imperceptible, shifted the course of destiny. It was in that moment, a heartbeat suspended in time, that Lily knew everything was about to change. A world steeped in shadows and unspoken alliances was about to collide with the fierce, protective love of a daughter. Flanagan's voice, laced with the lilt of their shared Irish heritage, spoke of trust and loyalty, but beneath the surface, a serpent coiled, ready to strike. "Patrick, we've known each other too long for secrets," he said, the words heavy with false sincerity. "The Italians are moving against us. This meeting tonight is just a distraction while they target your children." Lily's breath caught, her heart a trapped bird in her chest. She saw the subtle movement, the almost imperceptible addition to her father's drink, and a cold dread washed over her. There was no time for hesitation, no room for doubt. Pushing open the door, she shattered the carefully constructed facade. "Don't drink that, duh. He's trying to kill you." The room froze, a tableau of shock and betrayal. Her father's disbelief, Flanagan's barely concealed rage, the guards poised to strike. "My God! Girl, where have you been?" Her father's voice cracked, the sound raw with pain. "She's with the Corsetis now, Patrick," Flanagan hissed, his hand moving toward the weapon concealed beneath his coat. Sleeping with the enemy. Can't you see this is their trap? Lily stepped forward, the weight of her decision pressing down on her. Sliding a flash drive across the polished table, she offered proof, a beacon in the gathering darkness. Check the files, the bank transfers to the Russians. Orders for hits on Tommy and Sean Jr. Communications planning your murder tonight. He's been betraying you for years. What followed was a whirlwind of chaos, a dance of desperation and fury. Flanagan lunged for the evidence. Guards drew their weapons, and her father roared, knocking the poisoned drink away with a force born of betrayal. And then, Dante appeared, a shadow made flesh, his gun trained on Flanagan with unwavering precision. "It's over, Sean," her father said, his voice a low, deadly calm as he examined the contents of the flash drive. The fury in his eyes was a chilling echo of her childhood, a promise of retribution that sent a shiver down Lily's spine. 6 months later, standing in the tranquil gardens of the Corsetti estate, Lily watched Dante's mother tend to her roses, a picture of serenity amidst the ever-present undercurrent of their world. The events of that night had irrevocably reshaped the landscape of Chicago's underworld. Her father had retired to Ireland, entrusting leadership to her older brother with a mandate for peace with the Corsetti family. Flanagan had vanished, a ghost in the night, his fate sealed by the unspoken laws of their world. Lily had come to terms with the harsh realities of survival, understanding that sometimes difficult choices were the only choices. "You're pensive today." Dante's voice was a gentle caress, and he appeared beside her, offering a cup of coffee. His hand found hers, a gesture of easy familiarity that warmed her from the inside out. Over the past months, their unlikely alliance had blossomed into something neither of them could have foreseen. Respect had grown into trust, trust into affection, and affection had deepened into something akin to love, a healing balm on their scarred souls. "Just thinking about how different things might have been," Lily replied, her gaze drawn to Mrs. Corsetti, who was now teaching sign language to a group of Dante's associates, a testament to her commitment to inclusivity and community. Dante followed her gaze, his expression softening. "Different, but not better. Sometimes the most unexpected paths lead us exactly where we need to be." He brushed a kiss against her temple, his lips lingering on her skin. "No regrets?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "No regrets," he confirmed, his eyes meeting hers, filled with a depth of emotion that resonated with her own. Turning to face the man who had helped her find her voice, reclaim her family, and build something new from the ashes of their shared past, Lily smiled. Together, they were writing a new chapter, a story where enemies became allies, where sign language bridged divides, and where a shy waitress and a reluctant mafia boss found redemption in each other's arms, a testament to the healing power of love in a world often defined by violence.